Hello and welcome to an introduction to the Bad Company RHS Invade and Annex server. Today we will go over the rules, the roles, base, how AOs and side missions work, recommended landing zones for each AO, and general pieces of information and tips you should know mixed in with all of that. I will try my best to chapter each topic to help you find what you need to know, but do feel free to watch the whole video. So let's get started. Rules. The rules have been put in place to not only keep the enjoyment factor of the server as high as possible, but also to protect each player. If you are found breaking any of the rules, it can easily end in a kick or a ban. The moment you connect to the server, you are agreeing to adhere to each rule on this board. So please obey them. We do not like rule breakers. Roles. I won't go into detail on each role as it's just a whole other video in itself, but I will give you a quick synopsis of them all. Rifleman. Useful for carrying disposable launchers and is the only slot that can use the AR-2 darter drone, which can be handy for spotting objectives and lasing for casts. I've actually done a tutorial on our AR-2 darter, so if you want to check that out, you know where it is. Medic. One of the more useful roles in Domination. Medics can revive troops twice as fast as any other role, and can fully heal any player, providing they are in possession of the medkit box in their backpack. This has infinite uses, by the way. AT/AA specialists, or anti-tank/anti-air specialists, are a must-have if you're going to complete any mission in Domination. Each main objective will have enemy vehicles and enemy aircraft, so if you see that these roles are in short supply, make sure to take one. Engineer. Now this is the most important role of the entire server. Engineers are responsible for blowing up each objective within an AO with explosives. They are also able to carry toolkits to repair any friendly vehicles. If there are no engineers, then you'll be getting nowhere. Automatic Rifleman. This is the machine gunner slot. The machine gunner, like the title suggests, can carry heavy machine guns such as the M249 SAW or an MG42 if you're feeling nostalgic, just to name a few. Grenadiers. This role can carry the famous M32 6-shooter revolver grenade launcher and the M320 sidearm grenade launcher. Load these with HEDP and you can kill Tigrises. They can also take grenade launchers on most common used rifles, so have at it. Marksman. This slot is best if you want to just sit on a hill and pick your targets off from a distance. They can carry anything from the Barrett 50 cal to a shotgun. That's weird. Crewman. This role allows you access to the heavy and not so heavy armor of the server. Just be aware of your distance to the AO. Verona missiles fired from enemy infantry can reach a range of about 2 kilometers, so best to find some good cover in a hill far away somewhere. Crewmen can also access artillery vehicles that were just added in a recent patch. But beware, these vehicles are locked to a 50-player account. Pilot. Yes, my favourite role of them all. The pilot is responsible for the logistics and transportation of troops, ammo boxes, airlifting vehicles, and close air support or combat air patrol. CAS and CAP. If you have not so skilled pilots, then you will notice a severe lack in the progression of each AO. That is why the pilot slot must be taken seriously. If you aren't sure on how to fly, please use the editor, not a public server, where people rely on pilots to get them to and from objectives. And last but certainly not least, we have the Bad Company slots. Now these are only reserved for Badco members, so if you aren't in the Bad Company unit, then you cannot access the slots or the Bad Company vehicles. It's as simple as that. And no, we don't know when recruitment is going to open. Starting to think no one does. Main base. The base is situated in the bottom right of the map and is surrounded by mountains, making it quite safe for the most part when flying or driving around in it. The big dome is where the arsenal box is located. Here you will make your loadouts for each class and play Barbie dress up. The teleporter is where you're going to be able to teleport to the MHQ or the mobile headquarters. This is only possible if there are less than 25 players on the server. You will also notice a spectate feature here if you use the scroll menu. Next, the arsenal dome is the ammo box load point. An ammo box consists of vast amounts of weapons and ammo for every gun available. They also include rockets for AT/AA, first aid kits, weapon attachments, and a few other interesting items. They can only be loaded into the specified vehicles. Transport trucks, MHQ vehicles, and a hauler, or Chinook if you will. Moving on to the service points for vehicles. We have the vehicle service point for ground vehicles, airplane service point for planes, and a helicopter service point for helicopters. Surprising, I know. Each service point will completely rearm, refuel, and repair a vehicle. To use the service points, you must turn your engine off once inside the designated area, then wait patiently until you see your fuel return to the top left of your screen. This means the service is done, as refueling is one of the last things it will do to a vehicle. There used to be text prompts, but those got broke a couple of updates ago, I don't know how, so hopefully they can be fixed in the next one, cough, Hunter. Please note, however, the service trucks are much better for rearming, refueling, and repairing than the service points are. This is because of how instantaneous it is. The trucks are marked as A1/2 for ammo, F1/2 for fuel, and R1/R2 for repair. The service trucks are only for vehicles, so you cannot use them on your person. I will quickly run through each spawn point for the vehicles and then give a brief description of them. Apache, callsign Reaper, is used for CAS. I've done a tutorial on this, so if you want to check that out, you know where it is. Little Birds. 2 armed Little Birds with hydras and miniguns with a bonus weapon on each, such as daggers or ATAS missiles. These are marked as Bad Bird 1 and 2 on the map. And then we have 2 unarmed Little Birds designed for troop transport, able to carry a maximum of 7 troops, marked as Little Bird 1 and Little Bird 2. Blackhawks. Callsign Raven 1 and Raven 2 are designed solely for troop transport. These are my personal favourite to fly, as it's a nice mix between fast and nimble and has a lot of seats for infantry. The Blackhawk is able to carry 14 troops, including the gunners on the sides. Chinooks, the heavy lifters of the server, can lift any ground vehicle and can load ammo boxes for infantry. It can sit 26 troops inside, including the 2 side gunners, marked as Holler 1 and 2 on the map. F-22 callsign Lightning is for doing cap duties, dealing with air contacts, easy to use. Only bad thing about it is the HUD glitches out from time to time inside the cockpit. A-10 callsign Hog is for CAS. I have also done a tutorial on this plane, so everything you need to know would be in that video. Armor, best for sitting at far range, supporting friendly infantry as they advance, can be helpful when dealing with enemy armor and large infantry groups. We currently have a few APCs and Abrams and a few Bradleys. Then we have the Thumper and the Hellfire next to the armor spawn. These are artillery vehicles. They are very new, only added a few days ago. Please note that, like I said earlier, they are locked to a 50 player count because of how powerful they are. The Hellfire is the HIMARS, and the Thumper is the M109 with a really big gun. HIMARS can carry 6 HE rockets, and the Thumper can carry well over 26 HE rounds. Service vehicles and MHQ. Service vehicles are your fuel ammo repair trucks, or FAR for short. MHQ is the mobile headquarters that is available for spawning at if the player count is below 25. MRAPs, great for loading ammo into, can be helpful for pushing with infantry using it as mobile cover. Humvees, same idea as the MRAPs, but just less armoured. However, because of this, they are much faster uphill. And lastly, we have the Badco vehicles. The Badco vehicles will spawn inside the Badco compound at the bottom of the base. Main one you should really know about is the Mercenary. It has the same idea as the FAR trucks, but it's all 3 rolled into one. Useful for using at the top of the map to set up a FOB, or forward operating base, for air vehicles or any ground vehicles in the area of Razman. You will also notice quad bikes dotted around base. This is for getting around base quicker than just running everywhere. These are coded to despawn after a set amount of minutes, if not in use. They have a max speed of about 80 km an hour, even uphill too. Main objectives. On the map Takistan, there are 21 main objectives to complete. It is very possible to complete all 21 AOs, providing the team works together. Main objectives, or the AO, as everyone calls it, is where the big fight is happening. To complete an AO, you must advance as a team and ensure the engineer gets rid of the rail tower, HQ, and bunkers. Everything else is a side objective. The radio tower is responsible for enemy aircraft and power drops spawning for the AO. Once the radio tower is down, then you won't hear the song "It's Raining Men," as Mr. Flipflops put it so brilliantly. The enemy HQ is responsible for spawning in all enemy ground vehicles. This can range from anything to the mighty Tigris to an armoured ice cream van with a gun at the top. Once the HQ is down, you will notice a severe change in difficulty of the AO for the better. Bunkers are responsible for spawning in enemy infantry. Once all bunkers are down, you won't have to worry about infantry spawning into the AO via the ground anymore. Once these 3 main objectives have been destroyed, then the team can start capping towers. When all towers have been captured, the AO will be completed. Capturing towers before the rail tower or HQ have been destroyed can cause enemy vehicles and airborne troops to spawn. They will recapture the tower, and this can slow down the overall progress of an AO. There's a lot more information within the AO, but I will save that for when I do a tutorial on the role of an engineer. Side missions. Side missions are optional objectives that a small team can complete. They don't contribute anything to the overall progress of anything, but they can be a nice break from the main AOs. Some side missions can give you side mission vehicles. These include the T-90 tank, T-50 fighter jet, and the K-52 attack helicopter. If you want to attempt any side missions, ask before if there are any side mission teams already organised. Never interfere with the SM team. This is on the rules under Rule 7. Lastly, I want to touch on landing zones. A good landing zone is vital for infantry to progress through an AO. If you're landing the most vital troops on the hill and they get pinned down by enemy armor and infantry, then the AO will last for hours. Good landing zones often involve insertions on roads and inside valleys. I will try to swiftly show you each landing zone for each AO and give you a good route to take to each landing zone when piloting for troop transport. I will also post a link to a thread I made on the Bad Company website so you can view and download each image as well, instead of pausing the video constantly. Now bear in mind that the landing zones I have marked are there for all levels of pilots. If you're a veteran pilot and have skills to pay the bills, then please feel free to take troops closer to AO, but don't make excuses if it all goes to shit like I do. And that's it. I will make sure to link the Bad Company Discord below, as well as the website, in case you have any further questions or feedback you're willing to share about this tutorial or even the server. Hopefully this video helps you to start going in the right direction on the server. Let me know what else you would like me to cover. But yeah, that's it. I will see you guys in the next one. Then we have the Hellfire and what's the other one called?